Okay, this is chapter 5, and it's relatively, most of the things are going to be pretty simple except for one, and that is the issue of relative pronouns. So I'm going to go over this a little bit, and we're going to discuss some of the terminology. The most important thing to know that we're going to start off with is the idea of a clause. So we have dependent clauses and independent clauses. And a clause is basically just a conjugated verb with its subject. So we can have something as simple as je cherche, I'm looking. And here we've got chercher, which is a regular ER verb, conjugated with its subject je. This is a perfectly fine clause. It's an independent clause because it can stand as a sentence by itself. We can add stuff like direct objects. Je cherche la femme. And here we've got la femme, the woman. I'm looking for the woman. La femme is a direct object. It's receiving the action of the verb directly. In French, that means it doesn't have a preposition in front of it. Now, we're going to get other sorts of clauses that can't stand by themselves, that can't be a sentence just by themselves. They may start with a conjunction like and. I'm looking for the dog, and I want to buy a newspaper. And I want to buy a newspaper. It starts with and, it's a conjunction. Can't stand by itself. The one that we're concerned about here are subordinate clauses. That start with a relative pronoun. We also call them relative clauses. And the two relative pronouns that we're going to be working on in chapter 5 are qui and que. And so we have je cherche la femme qui apprécie les chiens. Sorry about, I don't know where these examples come from, just my imagination. Je cherche la femme, I'm looking for the woman, qui apprécie les chiens, who appreciates dogs. So the relative pronoun is qui. This is, here we've got our independent clause, je cherche la femme, I'm looking for the woman. We've got our conjugated verb and its subject, but here we've got also a conjugated verb, apprécier. It's got a direct object, les chiens, and it's got its subject, qui. I'm looking for the woman who appreciates dogs. So this is a clause on its own. The qui, the relative pronoun, links these two clauses. So it has functions, relations to both clauses. It has a relation to the verb, the conjugated verb, in the clause that follows it. It's the subject. Okay? Qui apprécie. It's the subject. And it gets its identity, its meaning, its number and gender from the clause that precedes it. And it's going to get that from one noun in that preceding clause. It's going to be the noun that's closest to it. Relative pronouns like to get as close as they can to the noun that they stand for, which is also called the antecedent. And it's going to be la femme. So this is going to get, it's hidden, but it's going to get its number and gender from its antecedent, la femme. So it's feminine and singular, and it's third person. So it's its person. So its form, its relation to the noun, the verb that for which it's the subject, is revealed by its form. Qui is going to be a subject relative pronoun. Let's compare that to this other form for the relative pronoun, que, here. Je cherche la femme que les chiens apprécient. I'm looking for the woman whom dogs appreciate. Sorry about this. This is our second clause, or our subordinate clause, our relative clause. This is our independent clause. I'm looking for the woman whom dogs appreciate. Okay, que is the relative pronoun. It's getting its number and gender and person from la femme, its antecedent, and it is it has a grammatical relation to the verb in the clause that follows it, apprécie. The subject of apprécie is les chiens. It's the direct object. It's coming in front of the verb. That's very frequent in French. So, les chiens apprécient the woman. Since it's a direct object, its form as a relative pronoun is que. So, okay, we have these two forms for the relative pronoun. Qui, which is the subject of the verb that follows it, and que, which is the direct object of the verb that follows it. If you have QU apostrophe, that will always be an elision for QUE. It never is an elision for QUI. So QU apostrophe always means QUE. It always means a direct object relative pronoun. Okay, we're going to look now at how to do this in the past indefinite, because it introduces some complexities.